All right, welcome back. So this week I asked ChatGPT what are the biggest financial planning mistakes a pre-retiree makes for somebody that has 3 to 5 million in investable assets. This is kind of our bread and butter client, and so I thought it'd be interesting. We're going to run through these. So the direct answer, biggest mistakes, floor plus growth plan. So entering retirement without 5 to 10 years of essential spending set aside in cash, T-bills, tips, forcing stock sales and down market. That's somewhat true, but I've seen people do a couple years of essential spending set aside, but typically not setting 5 to 10 years. So like the idea, don't love the time frame. Tax blind withdrawals. Yeah, pulling from wrong accounts, wrong orders, skipping Roth conversions. Pretty good advice here. Obviously very dependent on the type of accounts that you have in your specific situation. Bad asset location, ordinary income assets and taxable, equity index funds trapped in IRAs, reversing tax advantage. Yeah, the bad asset and it's something that we've talked about extensively on the show, and I was talking to a prospect this morning about. So this is definitely something that we see often. Overconcentration, single stock, employer equity. Yeah, this is something, especially for people that work for public companies that have a lot of, say, Oracle or AT&T or Lockheed, you name it. Those are just some ones that I've seen recently. There's a number of different strategies to help you unwind that. There's a lot of planning that can go around over concentration. But the key thing here is having a plan. Social Security, Medicare timing errors, Social Security too early. Something you see periodically, but not that often. Estate plan on autopilot. I don't know if autopilot's the best description, but not having an estate plan or not having living trust or outdated beneficiary. If you've gone through a divorce, updating those beneficiaries or your situation has changed, reviewing those is a very common mistake. Illiquidity trap, loading into private equity, interval funds, real estate right before retirement. I don't know if that's a top mistake, but I think that's where being very mindful of that asset location and the goal of each individual investment as it fits into your broader portfolio. Charitable giving done the expensive way versus donor advised or QCD, VUL, zombies. Yeah, if you're going to pay an expensive fee for an interval fund or something like that, I would just be mindful of what exposure that's getting you and why you're paying that fee. Mortgage and debt extremes, paying off older cheap debt or killing liquidity. Yeah, you see that periodically. Sometimes the peace of mind of not having a mortgage, even if it is at 2%, obviously from a pure financial standpoint, if you have a couple $100,000 outstanding on a mortgage, but your rate's at 2%. Money markets are getting you more than that. So, but there is the peace of mind that comes from not having a mortgage, no guardrails, rebalancing. Yeah, pretty good advice there. Work, exit, equity errors, missing NUA on company stock. Yeah, mistime lump sum distribution. This is a lot of where the value of an advisor comes into play and helping with that work and exit planning to avoid those costly mistakes. Along those lines, I saw this tweet this morning. This is kind of the working equivalent of that person on that's looking to retire. So 300,000 all in W-2 income. One spouse doesn't work, 2 kids, 2 cars, 1 paid off, 1 lease, 2 dogs, maxing out the 401k, got health insurance premiums, 1 big vacation a year, 1 mini vacation, putting 10,000 into the 529 plans. They got the $750,000 mortgage, so they're able to get the full mortgage interest expense. Real estate taxes are not bad. That's honestly seem pretty low. Kids, tutors, activities, eat healthy, eat out 1 to 2 times a week. And the only thing that I would try to add to somebody like this is saving into a brokerage account, because right now The only savings are qualified into the 529 and the 401k. So they don't have the Swiss Army knife. All right, that's it for this week. I appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you learned something, and we'll do it again soon. And thank you for watching, and thank you for watching the next video. Bye.